juvenile delinquency, race mixing, and the end of the world. And so my father was really put in a position where he had to respond to the critics. And of course he was always a gentleman about it. They always explained that it's just good, clean fun. Just like when the parents of those kids were dancing to the Charleston, it's the same thing. So anyway, he wrote this next tune called Don't Knock the Rock, and just kind of tell everybody, just calm down, because this is just good, clean fun, right? Little did he know what would happen with rock and roll. But it's all good. So here we go, but don't knock the rock. How about we feature the birthday boy on this next tune? Alright, so here's another one of those rock and roll pioneers, a real brilliant guitar player. I'm sure when Gordon was learning to play guitar, this was one of his idols. I'm just guessing. I'm pretty sure of that. So here we go, Mr. Gordon Johnson on a big hit for Eddie Cochran called 20 Flight Rock. Thank you very much there, Gordon. Alright, just a couple more for you here. This one was a big hit in 1956 for the Comets. A little tune called See You Later. Well, it's on the baby woman. Well, another one today. Well, it's on the baby woman. Take a cigarette my way down. Well, don't you know you never die? I went and thought of what you told me. But in the way in my head. Don't you know you never die? Alright, well, we're just about to wrap up our show, but I got a little story for you. You know, I mentioned earlier that the first recording session with Decca Records was April the 12th, 1954, and it didn't produce an immediate hit. So what happened was, first of all, they were late getting there because they got stuck on a sandbar in the middle of the Delaware River on a ferry boat. And then when they got there, they found out that there was a tune that Milt Gable, the producer, wanted them to play. And so they spent all day learning the tune and recording it as the A-side, a tune called 13 Women and Only One Man in Town. And they had 45 minutes left, and for the flip side, they said, you guys can do whatever you want. And so they had a little tune called Rock Around the Clock that they were going to do for the B-side. And it was going to be a throwaway tune. So just first of all, to just let you know what the geniuses at Decca Records thought would be the hit record in this session, we're going to do one verse of 13 women and only one man in town. Last night I was dreaming about the Ace Bomber. 13 women and only one man. say that's about the reaction that it got, but it wasn't even that good. But the record was released, and as I mentioned, a month later they went back in and recorded Shake, Rattle, and Roll, and then they had Dim Dim the Lights, and they had a bunch of hits, and that B-side of that record was a throwaway song that probably would have been forgotten forever, except there was a kid, a child, 9 years old, in Hollywood, California, named Peter Ford, whose father was an actor by the name of Glenn Ford, who was starring in a new movie about juvenile delinquency called Blackboard Jungle. And when the director of the movie came over to Glenn Ford's house to talk about the movie and the script, he said to Glenn, he said, you know, we need to find a song to put on the soundtrack of this very shocking and controversial movie. And Glenn Ford said, well, my son Peter's a big music fan, let's raid his record collection. So they did, and right on top was a record called Rock Around the Clock. Young Peter didn't like 13 women, but unlike the DJs and the radio stations, he flipped it over and wore the grooves out on Rock Around the Clock. So Richard Brooks took it back to the studio and they decided to use it on the soundtrack of the Blackboard Jungle, released in March of 1955, a year after it was recorded. And by July of 1955, it reached #1. It was the first #1 record in rock and roll history, although they didn't quite know what to call it yet. If you look at the record, it was called a foxtrot with vocal chorus. But it was the beginning of the rock and roll explosion. It tore down the doors, and of course all the major record labels went out and started looking for rock and roll artists, and hence you have people like RCA picking up Elvis Presley, and Chuck Berry and Little Richard, and a lot of pioneers getting record contracts because of the success of this record, that still today is the third best-selling single of all time, after White Christmas by Bing Crosby. And now Elton John's second track, A Candle in the Wind. That's the only two, according to the Guinness Book of World Records. So, the song has some legs. So here we go, we're going to finish up with this song, and maybe we'll wrap up with a little Saints rock and roll after that. But we're going to thank you all for being a great audience today. Give yourself a hand. Thank you so much. 1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock.
Let's